morning. Some of us build apps for fun, some of us build apps for business. But in any case, it would be good to make some money out of it, right? Today, I would like to discuss a little bit about the business of apps. What goes behind actually monetizing your users? How do you acquire those users? What are the considerations you should keep in mind? And who can help you? Things like that. How many of you here actually build apps? That's nice. This is an often used quote. We would all like to do this. I'm not sure how many of us succeed, and I'm not sure how many of us know where the puck is going to be. I'm guessing we'll all try to figure it out one way or the other. So this is the number of unique downloads, not the updates, just the number of unique downloads. That's a huge number. There are about 7 billion people in the world, 40 billion apps. On average, a person downloads about 30 apps. So some of them obviously download a lot more than that. And this is the number of minutes people spent on apps in March 2012, just 1 month. So a lot of time is being spent on applications by users, be it games, be it utility apps, it could be as simple as navigation apps, whatever, but that's a lot of time. So there should be a way for us to find out how to make that time valuable for the user, as well as make money off that time, as well as guide the user in using the right features or the right purpose for which we build the apps. This is obvious. Apps are the new mass media channel. The sentence can mean multiple things, but at the basic level, it's something to which we go to if you want news, if you want to communicate, if you want to do anything. It was newspaper, it was phone, the landline in the past, it could have been television, but today we go to apps. Okay, you guys went ahead and built a great app. What next? It could be developer life cycle, it could be user life cycle, it could be apps life cycle. Once you build an app, you want to acquire users, then you want to monetize those users, then you want to engage and retain users and grow your user base, right? Obviously, while you were building the app, you had a user profile in mind. You built the app for a particular type of person. Not all of us build Angry Birds. Not all of us build maybe Star Wars apps, which is for a very niche or a very broad audience. It could be somewhere in the middle. Acquiring users. Again, when I say app development, it could be anything. It could be a mom and pop studio. It could be a large company like Starbucks building apps for its transaction purposes. Everybody wants to acquire users. And even if it's a car maker like Ford, which builds apps, they want to acquire users for that app because ultimately they have a way, or they think they know how to make money off that later. We'll cover each of this really briefly. On the x-axis, you see time since app launch, and the y-axis, size of users, the number of users. So when you launch an app, you want to build awareness. You want the word to get out that there is this app. You want to influence discoverability in one way or the other. And obviously, your needs change as your business evolves and as the scale evolves as well. Some of the questions we ask ourselves: I just need to build a new app, I need to get the word out, I need to develop a better understanding of who will like this app, and I just want to get it out there in front of people because I didn't build it for myself alone. Advertising is obviously one of the few ways, maybe the least important one, but it does help. It does help you to get the word out there. Again, you could build great ads, you could target effectively. Targeting is something which is phenomenal today. With few publishers and ad networks today, if I build an app, I could target this convention center, and here I could target men in this particular age group. So that's the level of data ad networks publishers have. So you should know who your profile is. In many cases, we might not know who our ideal or the general profile of user is. We built an app focused on kids. For some reason, college students play it more or use it more. So that could be another outcome of targeting it, which is I will figure out by going broad who is actually using my app. Next is scale. Here's something which is not really a thing which small developer studios like. What's happening nowadays is somebody like TinyCo or Pocket Gems, Tom 8 builds an app, launches it, and spends a couple of $100,000 on the first day to promote it, which is not something all of us can do or many of us can do. So, but even then, you need to know when the tipping point arrives and what do you do then? Do you release or do you broaden your targeting, or do you go narrow and deeper and spend more money to acquire those users? But after awareness, you need to get scale. You have to stay relevant. Again, scale cannot exist without engagement. You need to understand how to increase the engagement of your users. I'm not going to talk at all about the actual app usage. That's something which I'm pretty sure you guys know better than I do. But along with that, you need this. The second part here is not really completely true. Just by driving downloads, you will obviously not climb the charts anymore. It used to be the case in early 2012 or late 2011. But now your app has to be good. It needs to get good reviews, good ratings, and people actually have to use it. The engagement level matter too. But even then, on the iOS store, number of installs you get in a 24-hour period and the acceleration of those installs also influence how likely is your app to get into top 100, top 50, top 25 in your category. That's useful. In case you guys don't know, so I pay or I spend $10,000 and promote my app and get it into top 25 in my specific category. Why should I do it? What's the benefit of getting it out there? When people go looking for a particular type of app, they are not going to keep looking forever. They will look at the top 25 apps, top 50 apps. So if by virtue of being in that rank, you get what's called organic downloads. That is not paid downloads. People who actually come to you. It's pull. Once you've pushed it, you want the pull to pay for the pull. The multiple ways you could do this: network takeovers or publisher takeover or sponsoring another game of yours or somebody else's, install exchanges. The performance part is when you have already figured out how much a user is worth and you will not pay more than that. So you need to identify which sources provide you those users. Say for example, I said at the beginning of this that I am going to target men in this convention center. After a little while, I figure out that these people are worth not more than $3 to me over the life cycle of their usage or their interaction with me, with this app and with other apps which I'm going to build or I have already built. So in no way should I be paying more than that, right? So that's what lifetime value is, which is your threshold of how much you're going to pay. Why would you track? So there's, again, the first half of the presentation is going to be more about advertising. So why would you track your ad spend? Because you can. People always wanted to track what happened with their ad spend. But today you can figure out where your users are coming from which channel, how much are they worth, and what are you going to do to optimize that further. And then you tweak. So, okay, maybe targeting men in this age group was not the best thing I could do. Maybe I should check out the kids who are likely to influence their parents a lot more. By making the app more relevant to this particular category, I'm going to get more money. So you tweak. This is going to make things a little more clear. You need to identify the events. While you're building an app, you need to have that in mind. The first obvious event is a user downloading my app. Second event is user launches my app. Third event is he's come back to my app the third day. Fourth, or the most important event is when did he actually make the first transaction if my app has in-app purchases. Or if my app was a paid app, the buying part becomes the first transaction. And you segment them. So, there obviously, if your app is something which has in-app purchases, there's obviously going to be a bunch of users who will never pay or on average pay very little. There are high paying users, there are deeply engaged, loyal users who come back to your game every day or your app every day, but they're not really worth anything by the virtue of that fact alone. So to each, after segmenting, you have different actions you can take. Say, you can show ads to low paying users, you can cross promote to advanced users, you can reward loyal users by giving them coupons or giving them free in-app purchases. This is important. This is, if there's one slide, one thing to take away from this presentation, this has to be it. So that was about acquiring users and a quick rundown on what happened in 2012 in terms of in the app ecosystem. There are more than a million apps available today. 100,000 million, sorry, that's not 100 million tablets. Amazon and Facebook are something you have to consider. So we fall in this rut. I'm building an app, let me build it for iPhone because that's what my kids use, that's what my wife uses, that's what I use. Maybe I use Android, but I think iPhone users are going to pay more. But you need to look beyond that. Amazon's App Store, which is maybe you build your app specifically for Kindle. Facebook, how do I make it deeply integrated with Facebook and be ready even when they launch their own phone, because they are. New platforms emerge. They haven't yet succeeded, or I hope they do, but we need to keep an eye on this. Tablet Fruit 2012. Nexus 10, who knows? iPad mini, definitely yes. Samsung's doing phenomenally well. Surface, which is something you all should bet upon, simply because who's going to be using Surface? Somebody who's, I want to say somebody in a suit, but yeah, somebody who's looking to use Office, who's justifying the purchase as something which he uses for business, things like that. Some of them were not relevant or might not be relevant going forward, so they did try. This chart has been shown multiple times in the past. So iPods were good, iPhones were great, but iPads are something else altogether. You might want to build something for iPads alone, or you might want to make sure your apps work with, by iPad I mean tablet, so that's how good or how bad the situation is today. Yeah, you've got to keep the tablet strategy in mind while you're working on your applications. And this is something you need to keep in mind as well. So Samsung is big, right? Not all of us acknowledge it, or we don't want to acknowledge it. It's not sexy. It's not as good as say an iPhone, obviously, or Microsoft launching a Windows Phone 8. But it is big, and it's looking at something else along with Android, which is Tizen. You might want to stay abreast with what does that mean? I mean, do I need to build my apps using different codes, or do I need to encapsulate it in something else, or can Samsung do this for me, or will Samsung pay me to build apps for this, which has happened in the past. BlackBerry still does it. Microsoft is trying to do it. So, which is awesome, right? So not only will the users pay, the platform is also incentivizing you to build for it. So keep a lookout for this. Smarter app stores. All the carriers in the world tried to do this, and they failed. It's not working out. So there's no point anymore for you to keep thinking like, say, Orange is big in Europe, or 3 is big, or I need to build apps for Verizon's App Store if Verizon still has an App Store. So not relevant anymore. Context matters. This is something which a lot of us at InMobi, as well as the developers I meet, this is something that keeps bubbling up. So what am I doing? So how does my app work outdoors? How does my app work when I'm driving? Can I use it while I'm commuting? Can I use it when I'm casually taking a stroll in the park? Engagement is king for long-term viability. So it's great. I built a good app. I spent a lot of money. I acquired a lot of users. They'll go away. People are finicky, right? So there's no loyalty per se if you do not have engagement built into the app. You need to make your app focused on that. It could be building something aspirational inside your app. It could be building something which is sexy inside your app. It again depends on the segment you're targeting, but engagement is the primary thing. It comes before promotion, it comes before burst campaigns, it comes before everything else. And you need a target. So everybody has a smartphone nowadays. Everybody looks like an attractive, lucrative target to you, but they might not all be relevant to you, right? So you need to figure out who's relevant. So maybe that one person with a kid on the top right corner, that might be the person who's going to actually pay for you. So this is the last couple of slides. What is a platform or an ad network doing about all this? InMobi, we acquired something called overlay media, which helps us bring context to advertising. We have built something called as lifetime value proposition product. We have acquired app galleries and Metaflow, which help us publish apps and build app stores across multiple systems in the world. And InMobi mediation layer is going to help you make money through advertising. It's not relevant to everybody, but if it is to your app, we could help you do that. That's us. And that was a very brief introduction to apps and how you acquire users. Any questions? What type of apps are you guys building? You said you guys are app developers. Is it games? You said you're building apps. Okay. Enterprise focused or individual focused? Okay. Okay. Nice. Oh, awesome. Nice. Does anybody build for enterprise? Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. Good question. So there are three major payment mechanisms. One is CPM, cost per thousand impressions. The user doesn't have to do anything. If you show 1,000 ads, you get a specified amount. That's CPM. Next one is cost per click, CPC. You get paid only when a user clicks on an ad. Third, which is cost per action, which is getting more relevant nowadays, is because trackability is built into advertising, they will track what the end goal of the advertiser is. If it is Starbucks, did the ad lead to a sale of the $10 electronic voucher or coupon? Or did the ad lead to downloading of an app? So then there's a price for that action and you get a share of that. So impressions, clicks and actions, all three things. Absolutely, and for free. For free, yes. So do you mean ads for your other applications or do you mean ads for your? Yes, you can, yes. No charge, no charge. So you see, what you are saying is, I have a lot of users. Part of it I want to monetize using your ad network, but some of it I can sell myself directly to advertiser. Can I do it using your ad network? Yes. And not just us. Forget for a moment I'm from InMobi. Any ad network, most major ad networks can do that for you. You should do that. All right. Thank you, guys.